Hi, Dave Jones here again. We're going to look at a song by The Police. It's called Every Breath You Take. It's a great song. It's got a nice little picked intro and some strumming in the verse and middle eight sections using the chords G, E minor, C and D, and an A7 in there as well. So the chords are fairly simple. The intro is moderately difficult, I suppose. If you want to play along with the Police record, I've put at the top, if you're following the PDF, you probably need to print the PDF off for this because it's written out in tab and chord sequences and everything. If you're following along, it says capo at the second fret. Now, you only need a capo at the second fret if you want to play along with the Police. The original version's in A. I've done it in G to make it slightly simpler and in case you haven't got a capo. But if you have got a capo, you put your capo on at the second fret, if you know what those are, one of those things that clamps along the top of the guitar, and you play everything else. The second fret then becomes 0 if you're following the tab, and the third fret becomes 1, 2, 3, etc. So you play exactly the same shapes, but not everyone's got capo, so I just thought I'd do it so as you can play along to the song. So here we go. What we've got, the first chord is called G add 9. Don't worry too much about it, because if you're going to strum it, you'd have to finger it slightly differently. It's because you're picking it and you're missing some strings that it's called G add 9. So don't worry too much about the G add 9, the E minor 9, etc., etc. They're only called that because of the strings you're picking. If you were strumming it, you'd play them in a different way to get that chord. So the first chord is G add 9. We've got our first finger on the G string at the second fret, and we've got our second finger on the thick E string at the third fret. And what you do is, if you're following the PDF, don't worry too much about the chord names, like I say. Just put your fingers on the two frets that I've just said and pick the strings in the order they're written in the tab, and you will already be holding all the right numbers down in the right places. So the G add 9 pattern for 2 bars is so it'll take you a while to get that pattern, I would have thought, if you're a relative novice to the guitar, but the picking remains the same throughout. So once you've got the first one, the first G pattern, then you can you'll find that the picking takes over eventually. Trust me, it will. So then we move to the E minor 9 chord. Again, it's only called this because the strings we're picking on. It's shaped like a bit of a power chord, actually. We've got our first finger on the A string at the second fret, and we've got our third finger on the D string at the fourth fret. And again, just look at the tab and pick the numbers in the order. 2 bars of that. And then we move to a C add 9 chord. Again, you'd finger this differently if you were strumming. Second finger on the third fret of the A string, and third finger on the third fret of the B string. And again, picking the order of the tab. Just 1 bar of that. Then we move to a chord called D sus2. Now, if you're going to play this chord from the previous chord, leave your third finger where it is on the B string at the third fret, and use your first finger to go onto the G string at the second fret, like that. And then pick the chord. Just 1 bar of that. And then we go back to the G add 9, and that was the reason I told you to use this fingering, because this first finger can now stay where it is, and your second finger comes up to there, and we've got 1 bar of the G add 9 chord. So that's the picking sequence throughout the intro of the song. So we've got G add 9, E minor 9, C add 9, D sus2, then we're into the chord section. So that's your intro. And if you go through it slowly, I think you need to go, if you're a novice player, you really need to go through this slowly, but you'll gradually pick up the picking pattern. And as I say, once you get used to the picking, it remains the same throughout. You can either play that with a finger pick thing, or you like with your fingers, or you can play it with a plectrum. I'd try both ways if I was you, because it'll improve your plectrum work and it'll improve your finger work. So that's kind of cool thing to do. I'm going to do some exercises, lessons on finger picking in the near future. Then we've got like the verse section of the song, is down, down, up, up, down, our favourite strumming, or my favourite strumming pattern for teaching relative novices how to strum and change in between chords. Got 2 bars of G, 2 bars of E minor, 1 C, 1 D, 2 Gs. If you're following the tab, what you might notice is on the last bar of G, I've just got 1 downward strum, and then the other little squiggly bits are called rests, because you kill it. Because what happens is, I'll take you through it. The verse repeats twice. So you've got, I'll call out the chords. We're going to go down, down, up, up, down, all the way through. So we've got G, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, E minor, C, 1 D, 2 G, stop. And then it comes in with the vocal line. So it's called a tacit. It stops, the music stops, and the vocal line brings it back in again. So I'll take you through the verse one more time, and then I'll show you the mid-8. So the verse is 2, 3, 4, G, G, then up, up, down, E minor, then up, down, E minor, 1 C, 1 D, 1 G, and then stop, then up, down, up, down. And when you stop, what you do is let me get the shot here, just put your hand flat across the guitar, and it kills all the strings. I didn't kill it very well then because I'm in a really strange position trying to get this in the shot, but dead. And then you've got a middle 8 section, 2 bars of C, 2 Gs, 2 A7s and 2 Ds. So we'll go through that. That's the Oh Can't You See bit in the song. So we've got 2, 3, 4, C, C, G, G, A7, A7, D, and then stop, and then back into the verse section again. So that's the whole song. Hope you find it useful. A good song because you've got the picking in there and you've got the strumming in there. And like I say, if you want to play along to the original, capo on at the 2nd fret. Chords are the same, G, E minor, C, D, but you play them up. So you play your G here, and then your E minor here, and then your C there. And what you'll actually be doing is it will put you in the key of A. So you'll be playing A, F sharp minor, D, E, basically. But you'll be doing it with the capo and with open chords, which makes it a little bit easier, particularly with the picking pattern being quite so hard as it is for the sort of beginner type student. So good luck with that, and I'll see you again.